the 8-man tag team match, Voodoo Murders, aforementioned. This is a All Japan team, so, well, Voodoo Murders is an All Japan faction. But on this team, they have Giant Bernard, Rosie, Suwama, and Taru. And then on the New Japan side, it's Manabu Nakanishi, Naofumi Yamamoto, Riki Choshu, and Takashi Iizuka. Just on the New Japan side, Nakanishi, a former Olympian, he was kind of forced into the MMA-focused years of New Japan to his detriment, and then overlooked when the new breed came along. So he's currently half of the tag team champions, as mentioned before, but he competed in the recent tag league with Yamamoto, not his championship partner. So Yamamoto's a young man that's not been particularly successful yet, but he is becoming popular amongst the fans. Riki Choshu, of course, he's been with New Japan nearly from the beginning. He won his first IWGP Championship in 1989. In the same month, he won the tag titles with Iizuka, and he is the legend behind the popularization of the Scorpion Deathlock. So Choshu recently returned to New Japan. It was 2005 when he took up the Booker role. And Iizuka, the final member of that team, well-travelled, decorated tag team wrestler. And he's apparently recently been, at this time, helping in the New Japan Dojo. Then on the All Japan side, Taru is the sinister and vicious founder of Voodoo Murders. It's a faction that has become a prominent force in All Japan through violence and a general lack of respect. They are known to put their victims in body bags, and they like to use baseball bats as weapons. And Bernard was one of the early members of Voodoo Murders. In 2005, he left a big gap in the team when he came to New Japan in 2006, but he's really impressed with New Japan. He's worked his way into title contention. He's actually had 2 matches so far for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Unsuccessful, of course, on both occasions, though. Then there's Rosie, R-O-Z, known as just Rosie in WWE. So he initially joined ROD. I was talking about those guys before, Roughly Obsess and Destroy. And that's when he arrived in All Japan in 2006, but like Buchanan and D'Lo, he defected to Voodoo Murders. And then Suwama is a young All Japan Dojo alumnus, and he's aligned himself with the group in early 2006. So, for those of you playing at home, Bernard is the freshly back-shaven man with tribal tattoos across his torso. Rosie is the big guy in the same clothes that I think he would wear into the pool. Suwama has bright red hair. Taru has the Neapolitan ice cream hair. The other team's a bit harder to kind of figure out who's who. They've all had the same stylist, I suppose. Yamamoto is the youngest. He's the slimmest one. You might recognize him as Yoshitatsu if you're a WWE fan or know of that character at the time. Iizuka has a little facial hair that makes him the more mature looking. He's got a bit more size. Nakanishi has the shortest hair. Choshu has Choshu's the oldest. No offense, big fella. Okay, so this match. The trend of the night continues with all those All Japan reprobates rushing in before the bell. The 2 seniors are the first to clash when the dust settles, and the crowd show they can get loud, because they get loud for Choshu. And he just stays in the ring after tagging out, and the referee doesn't really bother him. Just kind of a power move, I think. Maybe he books the referees as well. Nakanishi shows he wields a lot of power as he throws Taru around and strikes forcefully with chops. Yamamoto comes in and cops a low blow by the savvy veteran right away, changing the momentum of the match. Then Rosie, Bernard, and Suwama toss the poor kid around for a while before he gets dragged into the crowd by Taru. This guy's a real menace. He throws Yamamoto back into the ring, he assaults the commentator, and then when he's tagged in, he chokes Yamamoto with his wrist tape. His partners split Yamamoto's legs, and Taru mercilessly delivers an axe kick to the groin. I don't think that was even worked. And that was definitely a time he could have used a run-in from his team, by the way. I'd have been pretty salty at my team if I was Yamamoto. But he fights on, he tries reversing a clothesline, but it's botched badly. It still gives him enough time to make a tag, though, and in comes Choshu to rev up the crowd. There's a powerful lariat on Taru, and then on Suwama, and then after some resistance on Rosie too. Nakanishi joins in the fun. He knocks around Taru and Bernard, and he's over pretty big too. He's giving out free lariats as well. The crowd pop big when he manages to lift Rosie up onto his shoulders, but it proves too much, and Bernard puts a stop to his ascendancy. Iizuka uses the chance to make his own mark on the match, and Taru is once again on the receiving end, this time of a tight sleeper hold. Rosie breaks it up and Suwama tags in, taking back control from Voodoo Murders. Iizuka makes a quick comeback and lets Yamamoto in, who strings together some offense on Suwama but gets cut off by Bernard with a huge raised powerbomb. Bernard and Nakanishi meet in the ring, as they did several times last year in high-end competition, as the match begins to lose control around them. It comes back to Suwama and Yamamoto. A high-angle back suplex with a bridge from Suwama, keeping the youngster down for the count, one youngster to another. Afterwards, Bernard turns on his former All Japan teammates after an argument with the leader Taru, who he choke bombs. Rosie and Suwama attack him, but he escapes and taunts him as he leaves. So Bernard is no longer... He left Voodoo Murders when he left the company, but they came back, they were still buddies, no longer.